This program was first broadcast on Canterbury's access media station, Plains FM, and was made with the assistance of New Zealand On Air.
Thanks for joining us for Being Real Parents with me, Anna, and my colleague and buddy,
Melissa from Monday Creative.
We work in the parenting space, and it's here where we'll talk about our worlds as parents, the good, the not so good, and the hilarious, and mix this with what we know about behaviour and psychology.
Kia ora, Anna.
Kia ora. You said working mums in that rather than working parents, and I want to explain why.
Oh, true. I only said working mum because that's what I am.
Yeah, true. I'm a working mum too, as well. I guess the other thing to say too is that if you're not a working mum, don't think that we think any less of you, because we don't at all.
No, absolutely not.
And we hope too that you don't think any less of us, because we are.
I think the big thing about what we're doing here with this show is just showing that what everyone does is normal and good for them, and they're doing the best they can, and that, you know, that is good enough. Parenting is good enough. So whatever, whether you're a working mum or you're a stay-at-home mum, or and whatever that looks like, that's okay. And so how's your week been? What have you been up to?
I've been doing a bit of connecting. I've had some nice times with friends recently, and my cousin has arrived back into New Zealand and just down the road, which has made me super happy too, and his whānau. And that feels good. It's made me think really hard, or just reflect on what it feels like when we belong with people, and how irregularly that happens, and how that's pretty shit. Yeah.
And you've mentioned in a previous episode, you've moved home to where you grew up.
So I've moved back to rural parts, and to support my dad, but also because I needed to have some, I need to come home to, sort out some of my own life as well. My relationship had broken up, and it's been a really interesting transitionary time of me wondering whether or not I'll return to Christchurch or whether or not I stay where I am, and I am kind of falling more in love with the area each day. But there's still some difficulties around it. So having my wee cousins show up down the road, I say this, but there's actually lots of my cousins in the area.
Yeah. Do you get together often?
No, we've been a bit rubbish. And I don't know what that is. There's a little bit of me feeling a bit shy. And, I mean, with this, I feel very close to this particular family, and we've kept in touch, whereas the others I haven't so much. But I just need to step outside of myself and do that. And we do keep in touch via social media, but I haven't been very good at reaching out and saying, hey, let's go for a coffee or whatever.
But do you find, I find with family, I think we had a few weeks ago, we had a big family get together, and you just sort of fall in. It's something on a cellular level where you just connect, isn't it, with your cousins and your family, and you might not have spoken for years, if anything, but you just fall into probably the relationship you left off with. Yeah. It's a gift.
Even if that relationship was when you were a child.
I know, yeah.
They always say that your best friendships, your first best friendships form with your cousins on your grandma's lawn.
Yeah. Oh, my God, that's so true.
Yeah.
We grew up pretty close to cousins down south too, and, it is. A lot of my positive memories of my childhood are around hanging out with my cousins and just, I don't know, it just seemed like endless summer nights, or just hanging out and being down at the beach, or, it was in Timaru actually, so it'd be down at the Sound Shell at New Year's on the Cherry Plains, listening to John Grinnell and Suzanne Prentice and spinning the chocolate wheel. And And I still catch up with my cousin to this day, and it's just so easy. It's easy, isn't it?
Do you know what? Those are exactly the same memories that I have. We should write a book of, predominant.
And long,
childhood.
hot summer nights.
Yeah.
So we talk about long, hot summer nights. Now, there were some nights it was just stinking hot, 10 o'clock, and you'd just be throwing the sheets off and the windows open. But then you just get up the next day and go to the beach or go to the river. And,
Live in your togs.
Yeah, totally.
Remember that?
Yeah. And have those permanent sort of strap marks on your back and across your thighs. Yeah.
You knew which togs you had, year to year, didn't you?
From the strap marks.
Yeah, and then your cousin or your little sister got those same tan lines the next year because they was hand-me-down togs.
Well, I never quite got that far. I'm the youngest. Yeah.
All right.
You're listening to Being Real Parents with Melissa and Anna on Plains FM 96.9. So let's crack into it. So we're both mums who work, parents who work. There probably aren't many out there that don't. And so we're just going to talk about today what it's like to be a working mum and how we manage it.
Yeah, without claiming that we've got this dialed, because
No.
because I'm not sure that anyone has. And it's just kind of like the tips and tricks that we know work for us and have kept our households running to a degree most of the time.
Yeah, I have to agree. I've got a big disclaimer. When we said we were going to do this, and I sort of thought about prepping for this and sitting down and, right, what are my kind of things that, the things that I do to help get things going in the house during the week. I wrote them down and I'll share those, but actually then it came to the crunch this morning and I'd done none of it. And it was a mess. I was a hot mess this morning. I'd come off the back of a big weekend of a birthday party, and my husband had worked a lot this weekend. He's a fireman. He worked 24 hours and he's back to back again today and tomorrow. And I didn't get organised. I had no stuff done. And then I went to do the lunches this morning and there was nothing really, there wasn't a lot in the cupboard. And I think that came from the fact that it was, the kids got stuck in the weekend and they're eating lots and snuck all the stuff out of the freezer, and there were no crackers and the muesli bars were gone and scraps there. So I think you're right. I think there's the theory about what we want to do and how we want it to be, well, for me personally, and then the reality kicks in. And there's weeks I am struggling and I'm a hot mess. But I think that's the time when I look at it and think, right, I have to get back to doing what has worked in the past, which is diary it. And so we'll run, I'm happy to run through the tips and things that I do.
For me, I definitely go, it's almost like I have a great week or a great couple of weeks and then I fall off the wagon in terms of my planning and preparation and then I notice that and then I go back to it. So I never learn my lesson.
Yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree. It's almost like that, oh gosh, you've got to a point you think, oh, I'm going to start again. It's like fitness and eating well, isn't it? You think, oh yeah, I'm going to do great this week. And then you're reaching for the chocolate.
Sometimes we manage it and sometimes we don't.
That's right. So let's talk about it. So, Anna, have you always been a working mum?
Well, clearly not before I had children.
Good point.
I have, basically. As soon as my babies were born, I was pretty soon afterwards looking for, back into work. It's how I became a contractor, actually, because I knew that I wanted to be good at being a mum, but also good at doing my job. And the only way that I felt like I could manage that was, by being able to be really flexible. So for a long time I worked with my children, believe it or not, through my contracts until they were about 2 years old, and then they started, like Lulu got into the pot plants one day at work at a meeting and just started biffing dirt.
Oh, you literally took them into the meetings.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So I did that for a long time. It was easier with the eldest and got progressively harder as I went along. But yeah, that was just kind of like, because I was working in the parenting space, it made sense to do that as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, and what I love about children is they always, deformalise any situation. I kind of love that too. So I did a lot of travelling with them, a lot of working with them, that kind of thing, and then they went into childcare from there. So, yeah.
And then, of course, our children are now old enough, they're all at school. So we manage, do you work sort of try and keep your hours during school hours, or how do you manage it?
Yeah, it's almost harder when they go to school, isn't it? Because you have to adapt to that time frame. Yeah. So, yeah, I work during school hours and then before school. So I get up early and work.
Yeah. I tried to get up once.
But I cannot work in the evenings. I can't do the other end of that. I am a lark. Yeah, not an owl.
That's your circadian rhythm, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so...
I'm a sloth.
You're
Just slow at either end of the day. No, Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that, so I guess that I had to learn to be a working parent early-ish.
So what do you find the hardest about being a working mum?
Having to do it all.
Yeah.
Because I'm also doing the solo as well. And then... so I find that hard, but it's the tiredness, the fitting in. I have to be as organised with my outside of work time as I do with my work time. So I have to put as much energy into preparation and planning around my entire week as opposed to just the days that I'm working.
And I find that quite hard, actually. The act of prepping is quite hard. When do you fit that in?
Generally on a Sunday is the day that I kind of like reset. So I'll do the housework on that day, do meal planning on that day, go through my week and figure out when I'm short of time, have a bit more time, that kind of thing. So, and sometimes, it's so interesting. We just switched roles. You were usually super organised and me not so much, and now I feel like I'm stepping up.
Yeah, but do you think you're a creature of habit? So every Sunday do you go, right, this is my planning hour, hour of power?
No, naturally I'm pretty chaotic, actually. I remember when I was working in corporate that I was sent to a time management course, which I was late for.
Brilliant. Hi.
So I'm fighting my own self, but I just know that if I don't do this, it just impacts, me being able to be present with my kids, me being able to get kind of downtime, and just that constant rush. It just reduces the rush. Yeah, I agree. I think I have to get Sunday organised when I remember to. I think that, sometimes just you get to Sunday night and you realise, I realise that I haven't. But when I am organised and I write my diary, I plan out the week, I think about the meetings that I have, and I do try and organise all the meetings that I have with clients during school hours. And sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. But I do like to get organised around when I'm going to get the groceries and think about a bit of meal planning for the week. When I can do bulk cooking, of meals, like one massive pot of lasagna, minced, do it on a Sunday, and then that can be divided into, 4 boxes to go into the freezer, and then that's good for nachos. It's good for... Somebody gave me this cool tip, which was cook once, eat twice.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. So... Yeah, the crock pot is our friend, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, love it. And do you know what else has made a game changer is the air fryer.
Yeah. So I've got one that I have oddly not used.
Oh, tell you what, it does. It changed my life. It's really good.
What are you doing in there?
Oh, just lots of things. Like if you're short on time, you might have, the frozen fish or... Even sausages go in there, and chicken. Like sometimes I just put chicken in and put my teriyaki sauce. It's just easy because it goes in and it's easy to. It's small and it's convenient and it's quick. That in the crock pot. Yeah. So yeah.
Do you realise how boring we sound now?
I know, just thinking exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
But it is all
For
about
anybody that had any illusion that we had these really cool lifestyles.
Rockstar.
And, total rock stars.
Yeah.
Now you know the truth. We're just on Sundays doing planning a meal prep.
frothing over the air fryer. But yeah. So what else do you do to be organised in the week?
I ensure the kids have routine charts so they know what they're doing. You're good at that too.
Oh, no. Do you do a chart for your kids, or do they fill it out, or do you write it down?
Yeah, basically they have a routine for the mornings and the afternoons, and then also bedtime as well, really.
Yeah.
That they have to get through before they come up to breakfast, come down for breakfast, and then basically it's teeth brushing out the door. Yeah. So they do that. So I do that. I also have this odd thing of doing designated spots, like in my pantry I have a designated spot for lunch food items so that I can just grab them and not have to search everywhere for something to put in the lunch boxes.
Yes, if I did that, my kids would nick them on the weekend. That's the problem. I woke up this morning and there was no crackers, no muesli bars. They'd all been eaten. But that's a great idea. I would just put them in the top drawer.
I also have a designated spot for like homework stuff, like the homework, go and get your stuff for homework. And it's just got those, but some of the pens and the books and that sort of thing. I keep swimming togs in their bag rather than in a drawer to go in the bag later. So if they're washed, dried, they go straight back into it. And same with dance gear or I don't know, whatever you got, gymnastics gear. Yeah, it's just got designated bags and they just grab their bags. And I schedule playtime in, me time in. Yeah.
That's a good idea. I try to do that too. I try to have a bit of time during the day for me, whether it's a walk, yoga, just alone time really, just to recharge and reset.
Yeah.
And I like the idea. I try and do the same with the kids. We try and fit it in. Generally, it's around bedtime, but I sort of sit with them every night and talk to them. And every time, I have a day for each child.
Yeah.
In the sense that I give them 10 minutes extra. A little bit.
Nice.
I try to. So they all know their days. And those are the days also where they have a few extra chores to do too. And so that is sort of a routine, I guess. Doesn't always happen, but it's really nice when it does.
Yeah.
When it does come together. And it's a nice feeling when I'm organised. It is quite a tricky feeling when you're not, when you walk out the door.
Yeah,
Chaos.
I think also plan in some chaos time where you just go, just make sure that there's gaps in your day in order that it's not completely filled up. I like to be on top of my week so I know when the difficult spots are going to arise. I mean, I even do things like if I've got more days in Christchurch than normal, I'll plan what I'm wearing on those days so I don't even have to think about it.
Oh, wow.
Because I might be going from a meeting or be presenting to in the office to working with clients, and I kind of need to know that whatever I've got on is going to work. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's ridiculous. That's what that is.
I think one thing I think that I've appreciated with COVID is the fact that I'm a contractor and I'm a freelancer and I work from home for the most part, and I can plan meetings, but I do like Zoom has been amazing. I've recognised once I had the kids and I was getting back into work, and I tried working in an office. In fact, we met when I was trying to work in an office, and it was great, and I loved the connection, and I loved, being with adults and worked with some cool people and was doing amazing stuff. But I actually couldn't make it work for the fact that, as I've mentioned, my hubby's a shift worker, and the kids were all at different ages and stages, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't get up. It took an extra hour to get up and get sorted and get changed and have my outfits organised and out the door and travel and traffic. And then now I can literally just rock into a Zoom meeting, and and it's easier. And that's what I find is the benefit of being...
you only have to dress your top half.
That's right. Business upstairs, party downstairs. Slippers on. But...
I think you and I have had Zooms where we've compared our bottom halves, haven't we? With the jammies and slippers or trackies.
Yeah.
Because we know the tricks.
Yeah.
Don't we?
No, and I think that saved me a lot of time, and I am grateful for that. And that's not having to build that into the routine has been great. Saved me some time.
Yeah.
And what about lunch boxes and things like that? When do you get those organised? Do you prep the night before? Do you do it in the morning?
I have my designated spot.
Oh, you do too?
Yeah. And so I can just kind of grab and go, and the only thing that I need to do is throw some crackers together or whatever that kind of big carby item's going to be. So there's cheese scones in the freezer that I can pop in there.
Perfect.
Cheese toasties is a hit for them. What else? Or or sandwiches or wraps. Yeah.
And do they help out and make their own lunches?
Sometimes I think that's usually when they're having their breakfast. So I'll put breakfast on the breakfast bar, and then I'll be doing lunches during that time. But it's also nice because it gives us a chance to kind of chat and talk about our day, and kind of lean into having a nice morning.
That's fair to say we're sort of organised. I think you're sounding pretty organised. I think in theory I'd like to be organised, and some weeks I am and some weeks I'm not.
Yeah, I think I've got a bit of an 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time I'm organised and the 20%, is not. It's left, so that chaos can form where chaos just forms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like the 80-20. Sounds good to me.
Cool. So our 3 top tips in being a working parent and being semi-organised is using a diary to plan your week or your day and know that you can get stuff done. Use some time on Sunday to do preparation around a busy week, meal prep, whatever you need to have things go more smoothly. Make sure there's time in there for you too. Create some balance. We talk about the 80-20 rule, which is 80% of the time is highly organised and 20% of the time allows for chaos, and that's all good. But find what works for you. Don't compare yourself to others, including us. Good enough is fantastic.
Thanks for tuning in again this week. For anything we've referred to, head over to the Real Parents website, or you can tune into any previous episodes of the show, which can be found at the Plains FM website, and just search for Being Real Parents. Ka kite, have a great week. Super, thanks for joining us today.
We hope you've learned that while parenting is challenging sometimes, that's totally normal. It's been fun having you with us. Keep being amazing. Bye!